Hi, I'm sitting here with one of the most versatile personalities that I've met in my life, Dr. Biju Mathew, who of course is a psychiatrist. He is leading psychiatrist. He is but that's not what I'm going to talk about. He is also professionally very active. He is the president of BC Psychiatric Association. He's the president of Indo-Canadian Psychiatric Association. Again, that's not what I'm going to talk about. He is socially very active. He is the founder president of Ridge Meadows South Asian Cultural Association, and he's even I think a social activist. He was concerned about the homelessness in Canada. He went and did studies about homelessness and came out with his own solutions and talked with the government, and he's in active conversation with them. Even that's not what I'm going to talk about. What else have we got, Biju? Yeah, he is the associate professor in UBC for psychiatry, which is the pioneer university in British Columbia, one of the biggest in Canada. What he has done is, what I'm going to talk about is something that's way more interesting than all these things. What I'm going to talk about is none of these. The Renaissance man he is, he has gone and written a book, and the very first book he wrote became one of the top sellers. It was in the top 10 bestsellers in Amazon India in 2016. And that's what I'm going to discuss with him today. Welcome to the show, Dr. Biju.
Thank you so much, Sunny, for that kind words and fine introduction.
I think I left out a lot of things in order to save the time. So let's start with this book. I want to ask you a lot of questions, and I also want to know how you're so successful. How do you get all the time for all these things? But let's start with the book. Can you give me a brief introduction about this book?
Yeah, this book was conceived possibly in 2012. See, I am the founding president of the Ridge Meadows South Asian Cultural Society. In 2012, we thought of inviting Mr. AnandKumar, well known for his Super 30 school run in Bihar, Patna, Bihar. It has become a global institute in coaching kids into IIT, and he has been doing it for about 14 years. So that year I stumbled upon an article in Globe and Mail, and I was very impressed with his work. So I got in touch with him and invited him, and he gave an outstanding speech. I think you were there at the time.
I was there, yeah, that program.
And that night when he came back, he stayed with me, and we had a long discussion. And I wondered if anyone had written a book on him. He told 3 people had tried to write the book, but they didn't come out well, so he scrapped the whole project. And then I asked, is there anyone writing now? He told no. Then I asked, is it possible that we could write one? And he told, yeah, why not? So that was the start. And subsequently I went to Bihar soon after, spent time at his home and the slums of Patna, traveled extensively, got lots of information. I met with the students and met with the poor people in Bihar, and they were all very kind and very good people. Except for poverty, I found people of Bihar to be very bright and extremely intelligent. Came back, started writing the book.
So how long were you there?
First time I was there for about 8 days.
8 days, okay.
8 days. And I was assisted by Mr. AnandKumar, who is a journalist with Hindustan Times. So he helped me quite a bit in translation and getting information about the school system in Bihar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started writing, and I also had further assistance from Robert Prince, a local journalist in Maple Ridge, to edit what I wrote. And it was very difficult for me to write because I'm not good in typing, and in fact I typed the whole book with one finger. You know? That was probably the most difficult part. And then we sent the materials, the written materials, back to Bihar, and they liked it. And
you mean you submitted it to AnandKumar?
AnandKumar, yeah. But I didn't know that Anand also was showing this the material to other people who are very close to him, and they also liked what we wrote, and kept encouraging that keep writing. What you're doing is excellent work. And again, I subsequently made another trip to get further information.
So was this the entire draft that you made, or did you make a sample chapter?
No, I told him that I'm not going to review all the newspaper articles that had come across in India and elsewhere around the world, that I'm going to start from scratch and I'm going to see the evolution of Super 30 and AnandKumar through my eyes.
Absolutely. So that would be a fresh look and not repeating what others have said about it.
So there is nothing, everything that we wrote was very original. Original. And then I went back again for another trip, and this time I took trips to Bihar, to Benares, to Calcutta, to get more information. And
were these all the places that was, I mean, I would presume they are relevant to Anand's story?
They were all connected to AnandKumar. I went to Calcutta to see AnandKumar's father's workplace. He was a railway mail employee, so, and he would go from Patna to Calcutta and stay there overnight. So I visited where he actually slept. So that gave me a very good insight. And I went to Benares because AnandKumar would go to Benares to study math during his spare time, to Benares Hindu University to access journals. I also had lengthy discussions with Uttam Sengupta, who was the sub-editor of Times of India in Patna when AnandKumar was growing up, who introduced him to the media or to the world initially. Long discussions with him. So I met with scores of people, his teachers and the professors who taught him and all those things. So I had a very good grasp. Came back, and then I had finished about 4 chapters at the time, and apparently this was being shown to publishers. I didn't know about that, and then I suddenly hear that this has been signed up by Penguin Random House.
Penguin.
I was shocked.
One of the
biggest publishing house in the world. I was shocked. I nearly fell off my chair. And they liked what I wrote. That is the main thing. And then this pressure of wanting to complete the book, which I did.
So you came back and then completed the book. So the second time when you went to India, how much time did you spend there?
It's a comparable time, about 7 to 8 days, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but that trip was completely different. Different, and that, as you'll see from the book, to gather so much information, it takes time, and also to understand the students and the people. That's very important. Usually what has happened is when people write about Super 30, they go for a day or two to Patna and they meet with AnandKumar and visit, and that is the story that they write. But this took a lot of research, information gathering, and recheck, confirm the data. So it paid off because the book has been in the market for over 8 months now. No one has checked or confronted us or questioned the information.
The information there. Okay. So it's all authentic.
very authentic. No one has, questioned us. And they were also surprised with the factual details that we had given. So we are very proud of that.
That's great. Yeah, actually, I read the book, and when I was reading it, I was planning to read it in installments as I usually do. But when I started reading it, I found it so easy to understand and such a good narrative, such a good, easy language that I read in one shot, and I sat in one night and I read it. That is amazing. Now, one thing I've noticed is, again, you've gone, to all levels. Like, it's not just his story. You also researched about his parents and grandparents, and you've transgressed, generations in that, and then talking with a very wide, range of people to get that kind of information. What was your inspiration in doing that?
See, when I saw Mr. AnandKumar and reviewed his work before he came here, I was very impressed. That's why I called him in the first place, because I thought he was very unique. Because in that year, we wanted to invite someone who has done something very good to the society, and we had a list of people.
This was for your organization, South Asian Cultural
Society.
Association.
We had some very famous people from India, and they were all sterling, outstanding people. But I thought he provided something that is very different. And when I talked to him, that captivated my mind. As you know, I'm not a writer, I'm a psychiatrist, but I was gripped and amazed by what he did. So that's why I kept pursuing. And when I wrote the book, I never thought that this would ever be published. So when it was signed by Penguin Random House, the first time, I was shocked.
Yeah. So, that's exactly what I was also thinking. You are a man of science, you are a psychiatrist, but at the same time, I find that you are into social activity and, leadership. And also I know that you are a painter yourselves in this beautiful house. I'm finding paintings that you have done yourselves, and pretty nice. And now you're writing, and you're becoming extremely successful in that, in everything you do. How does that happen?
About this book, I think I want to write a good book. I gave my best shot, and I made sure that the book will not fail because of my feelings.
And then you were also, I find that when I look at the book here, I don't even find your name on the cover. You have been so humble in not putting your name there, and then the only reference about yourselves is in some of the photographs. You have put how many photographs are these?
I know there's one photograph.
Several. Just in one photograph, you're there in one corner. That's it, and there is no mention about yourself. You don't even do that.
Yeah, we thought about it, and I felt that the book is not about me. It is about AnandKumar and Super 30 and their work. So I thought the credit should completely go to the Super 30 and Mr. AnandKumar.
That's amazing. And the other thing which I observed about this book is when you read through it, many times I find when people write biographies, they will, from a first person narration point of view, they will say, I did this, I did this, I saw this. So you will get a feeling as though someone is reporting to you. Whereas in this case, you never mention the word I in this.
No.
It's kind of, I'm pretty sure you did it deliberately.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the book was not about me. It was about a man who grew up in the slums, and I saw it through his eyes.
So the feeling the reader gets is as though the reader himself is there, because they are seeing that world through your eyes. So it's not you who's telling me, it's actually I'm seeing through you, I'm there and looking at those scenes, and that's probably the riveting aspect of this book. You feel as though you are there Right.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it's a very exciting trip, and um, the the story of AnandKumar and Super 30 has become a part of my life. When I saw him, he was a stranger. Today, he's a brother to me.
I know. Yeah. It's, so, what was Anand's reaction to it?
Well, they were, they knew that he's going to do well, but not to the extent that he has done so well so far. Um, the book has been an amazing success. It is everywhere he goes, they talk about the book. The book was published, first released in Patna, Bihar by Nitish Kumar. The hall, the Rabindra Tagore Hall, was packed. I don't know how many people there, around 2,000 maybe, and there were equal number waiting outside to get in. And likewise in Uttar Pradesh, it was released by Akhilesh Yadav. Again, fantastic reception. Subsequently, in Maharashtra, was the chief minister there.
Mm.
And I think the book in the July publication of Business Today, it ranked number 4 in the bestsellers list.
Wow.
Okay, and then for July of 2016, it was the crossword book of the month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so it has done amazingly well. And then towards the end of 2016, Amazon India included Super 30 book in the most memorable books of 2016 by Amazon India.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing because Amazon India releases humongous number of books. I don't know the exact number, maybe over 100,000 maybe a year.
My God.
And we are in the top 500 or so.
So,
Yeah, and it includes the famous names like Abdul Kalam and J.K. Rawlings, Jeffrey Archer, people like that. And so we find our book to be in that group. So we feel very honored.
That's a meteoric rise. Like all of a sudden, you're a
Exactly.
bestseller author. Now, I'm finding a Hindi version of this.
Yeah, Hindi.
It's translated.
Hindi is a translation of the book of the English version. It's also done extremely well. It is published by Prabhat Publications,
Yeah.
and it's also ranked in the top 10 in the bestsellers Hindi.
Top sellers in Hindi.
Hindi.
Wow. Is it going to any other language?
It is being printed right now in Marathi, and we are hoping that it will be published in other regional languages in India and possibly in other across the globe.
Across the globe.
Yeah, in some there are some negotiations. We have not signed anything so far, but that's likely to occur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we are extremely happy, and the book it has become one of the best motivational books for young students in India.
Young students.
Especially from the poor,
The
strata of the
destitute.
society. Yeah.
Absolutely, because they have, they don't have the resources to go to big universities or abroad and things like that. So this must be a real inspiration for them.
Exactly, and then there are negotiations right now to make it into a Hindi movie, which is in the advanced stages. I would not want to go into the details,
Okay.
but it is already in works.
In the work, okay. Wow. That's, how does it all feel? I mean, it's in such a short time you have gone above the clouds now.
Yeah, I think it's. I want to stress upon the fact that the proceedings from the sale of the book and the movie is going to be directed towards the expansion of Super 30 and development of Super 30. So we are not taking. I'm not drawing any money at all from the book or its success. And I think that is the biggest reward for me. That the money goes to where it really belongs to and where people need it.
That's so magnanimous of you.
Thank you.
Especially when you live in Canada. how many people will think about such unprivileged people. That is so good. Now, how did you manage it? Now, I know that you are a very busy psychiatrist. You are busy doing in the leadership roles of these BC Psychiatry Association and Indo-Canadian Psychiatry Association and all those things, and you're doing your social work. Where do you find the time? What's your secret of success?
Well, at least for this book, what I did was I took less holidays. I spent more time on the weekend at home, and burning more midnight oil to complete the book. And Grace, my wife, was an enormous supporter. She provided me with lots of tea and coffee, and that was that. But I think, see, I believe in the fact that that we have come up in life. We are in a position of strength and power, and we can do a lot to help people who are less privileged than us. That's the driving motive behind my work.
It's that philosophy that, yeah, you need that philosophy to get ahead in life, I think. Yes. Tell me about your other activities.
Other activities, I'm a psychiatrist in Maple Ridge. I've been here for 21 years. And when I came, I was a stranger. And today I know a significant number of people in this community, from mayor to the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a privilege to have. And I like to work with the people that I serve. I am honored, in fact. And when they see doing better, when there's a smile on their face, I feel very happy about it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And what is your social organization, Ridge Meadows South Asian?
Yeah, it's a very, a few years ago, when we started this organization 10 years ago, there was a lot of negative media attention on Indo-Canadian community locally. There were some things happening that were not very pleasant, some illegal activities, some murder cases, that kind of a thing. And at least the local media painted the Indo-Canadian society as someone who are abusers and not law-abiding citizens. So we met and told we are going to change this perception of us in the community. So soon we got going, and a handful of people we joined and formed what is called as Ridge Meadows South Asian Cultural Society. And it's been a huge success so far. And when we started, we didn't know how far it's going to go and what we are going to do. But year after year, we would meet, we would have a gala locally, and we would raise issues that was not getting enough attention. And we mostly focus on social issues. And we focus on people who are falling through the cracks.
Were you focused only on Indo-Canadian?
No, it is for the Society of Ridge Meadows and Maple Ridge. For example, we have focused attention on battered women, hospice, homelessness, addiction. Now we are raising funds for youth services. And all these organizations lacked funds or are struggling to keep their program going. And we are very happy to do what we did, because in addition to the small amounts of money that we were able to raise through the gala, they have got wide attention in the community. I think that is the biggest contribution. And we have also become a respectful organization. People pay attention to us, and I'm proud to say that our gala, as you know, is attended by most of the people, and is usually nearly packed house that we have.
Absolutely.
It's well respected for what we do.
And it gets a lot of publicity
exactly.
and coverage.
Publicity and coverage, yeah.
Kind of helps to propagate your message.
Exactly.
Probably.
And this year we are celebrating the 10th anniversary, and again we are expecting a very good attendance.
Wow.
And I want to just touch upon this youth wellness center. When we started this program through the Division of Family Practice, the funds were nearly zero. And there were not much of assistance from the government per se, but we lobbied the city council. They gave us $10,000, and people, the citizens, have donated a lot of money, and we have raised nearly 45,000 or so approximately, and we are going to raise further. And what we get from our gala will be going solely to the Youth Wellness Center this year.
Wow, that's amazing. What was the work you did on the homelessness?
Homelessness, yeah. See, that's a huge problem, and as you probably know, homelessness is becoming a huge problem in British Columbia and across the world. In fact, in Toronto and New York, it's a major problem. Essentially, the governments have not been paying enough attention, or they have not had enough success with this group. So I stumbled upon a work by Sam Sembris, a clinical psychologist from Utah, Housing First project, which was hugely successful. But that was successful in the United States. So we didn't have any work that was successful in Canada. But when I read and when I heard about its success, the Housing First scheme in Medicine Hat, Alberta, 2 or 3 years ago, I was very fascinated by the success. So I traveled to Medicine Hat. I met with the director of Housing First scheme there, and I also met with the mayor there. And the work that was done there was very impressive. So I came back and wrote an article in the local newspaper, which is very, very popular, I must say. And I think my article had a positive impact on the community. Usually, you know, before there was a perception that homeless people are lazy people, and they do not want to work, they want to skim the system, that kind of a thing, without appreciating the fact that many of them do have significant problems of different nature. So that is that my article did make a change to the perception. And I do believe that the city and the governments have been paying more attention to the homelessness, and they are trying to come up with solutions. All these things take time. For example, Medicine had succeeded in putting the homeless, the Housing First scheme. It took 5 years for them to overcome the difficulty. So it's going to take that similar cycle for us to deal with the issue.
But we have to start somewhere, and somebody should nudge them to do that. And you, being a psychiatrist, you'll be better in touch. You know, you will have a better understanding about the
exactly. In fact, I do work with the homeless population locally. I go to the homeless shelter locally, and I work with the nurse practitioner and do what I can to address their health issues, mainly mental health issues.
Excellent. I understand that in the context of writing this book, you also met with the President of India. You were honored by him. Could you tell about that?
We were received at the Rashtrapati Bhavan by Honorable Pranab Mukherjee, I think on June 8th. It's truly a momentous day in my life. The atmosphere was unforgettable, and President was very happy to know that the story of AnandKumar will be shared by the rest of India and the world.
That's amazing. But I understand you had some award from India, isn't it? Before even you started writing this book, in some other context?
What is that, sorry?
Some other award you got from the President of India?
I got, there was this Bharat Gaurav Award. It is given to people who have done good to the society. It's a very honorable award. I think many people have got it, the famous being Mother Teresa, Kapil Dev, I think Devanand, Manoj Kumar.
Amazing. Okay. So you are among all those people, and you know, when they are way more famous, you don't seem to perceive that fame, I think.
I'm happy. I'm happy with what I do. I'm not really looking for fame. Each of the steps that I've done,
Absolutely.
it is not to go for publicity. It was never. That was not my intent.
It is to serve the society, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Very noble thought. Very noble thought. Yeah. Coming to the lighter side of life, I find that you have a beautiful house, of course, and very artistically done, and then especially impressive are all these paintings from famous artists which you have filled with, and I find your own paintings here. So you are a painter. Could you talk about that?
Yeah. See, at heart, I've always had this artistic interest. When I was in school, I did an water painting in grade 7, and that's very good. It was a flower, rose flower, and it was published in the...
When you paint yourself, you will feel it's good, right?
Yeah. So it was published in the
school
journal.
Did you? Okay.
So that was that, and from a young age, see, I was always good in science, science and very precision-driven, mind. So when I did my undergrad, it was in chemistry major. So it was all, structures and that kind of a thing. So very precision kind of work. But when I went to medicine, medicine is not as precise as chemistry or physics. I was more into the life and that kind of a thing. And then finally I'm into the world of psychiatry, where nothing is very precise. Everything is very blurred, from medicine to the social aspects of life or the psychological aspects of life. So that is a change, from transformation from chemistry to physics to psychiatry. It's a huge change. So likewise, through my work, I have found that life is not just pure science or money and success. There's more to it than
absolutely.
What we do. And so during that phase, about 10 or 15 years ago, I remember that I used to do painting. And I told Grace, who had never seen my painting at all, I told her, I can't do painting. She told, no, you can't do that. I told her, I'll show you. And so I challenged myself, went and bought a canvas, and I had never done oil painting in my life. So I looked at some of the readings, how to mix the paintings and everything. And here we are. My first painting became a hit. So I had a doctor's party there. They told, Biju, you have done it like a professional. So soon after, I did a few more, and they have all stood out very well. That's one of my oil paintings there.
That one there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So you put the same kind of passion into it.
Exactly. And as I say, but painting needs observation and is to be very precise. Even a single stroke, if it's out of place, can look very ugly. Yeah, so whatever I do, I try to do the best that I can.
So the best you can. That, I think, is your success.
Yeah, exactly. And I have not mentioned that when I was young in school and college, I was an outstanding athlete. I was probably known for my athletic capabilities than my studies at the time.
That reminds me, you got the championship in table tennis in Kerala Association here. You were competing with youngsters, and then you became the champion.
Exactly. Here. And then there was another one, I think KCABC, that there was a sprint, for young
sprint.
People.
Okay.
Sprint. So there was all these young fellows. I think this might have been about 10, 12 years ago. So I was the oldest among the whole group. And I ran.
And you come first.
And there were kids from 16 to whatever. Yes. Oh. I was the oldest among the whole group, and I won the.
You won the. My God. Has your psychiatry helped you in making you a successful person? Do you?
I think so.
Do you do that analysis on yourselves?
I think psychiatry has been a huge help to deal with issues, even in personal life. It's better to understand, and I get a better understanding of human beings and their lives through my training.
That's a great advantage, isn't it? You
It's
know
huge, yeah.
scientifically what's going on in your mind, and then
Yeah,
you can
I think
motivate
it's made
yourselves.
me a better human being.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. So the secret of success is to become a psychiatrist.
Not necessarily, but it's having to understand there are many people, like for example, AnandKumar, he's a brilliant mathematician, but he's a, most of all, is a human being with a kind heart.
Absolutely. And that comes out here too. Like, it's a story of people and
Exactly.
their yearnings and their passions and their problems and everything. You know, so I think an author must be a psychiatrist in the first place. I mean, just my feeling, you know, because it's not just events and objects that you're talking about. You're talking about people's feelings and thoughts.
Exactly.
Oh, amazing. How about your family?
My family, they're good. You know, as I say, I'm very fortunate to have my wife Grace beside me. She has been the main support to our family. You know, in the world of medicine, we do a lot of work and we spend a lot of time out of the house. And she has been the binding force, raising my kids, taking them to activities. And I would credit her commitment to the family, to the success that our kids have had so far, and they're doing well.
You have very successful children. One of them is in Stanford University, as I understand.
No, my eldest son went to Yale University to get his fellowship in addiction psychiatry, and now he's working at Surrey Memorial Hospital as an addiction psychiatrist.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's following your footsteps.
Yeah, well, I think he's doing better than me in his field. And my second son is doing his residency in family medicine at Oklahoma City.
Okay, America.
Yeah.
All right. So what else do you do, Dr. Biju? What's your pastime?
I still play squash,
Okay.
although my game has deteriorated quite a bit in the recent past because of lack of practice. Then I also do gardening around my house.
You have enough space here. You
Enough
have
space,
a
yeah.
beautiful garden here.
Thank you, yeah. And then I like, for example, I like the work that's done by KCABC because it's a fantastic organization. And
You mean the Kerala Association of British Columbia?
Yeah, it's a fantastic leaders like Sunny, Tyagi, and other people.
Thank you.
You know, it's grown from a very little organization to a well-oiled, reputable, iconic group for Malayali community locally.
Absolutely. That's really good, yeah. Any projects, any upcoming projects for you?
I haven't thought about it, but a lot of themes do cross my mind, and I'm very secretive of what I do. So I'll keep it to
Until
myself
it comes
at this
out and
point.
becomes a bestseller. Of course. Then you can't keep it secret anymore.
Exactly. This didn't come out, the Super 30 book, no one knew about this project except my wife and 2 kids. That was that, until it was accepted for publication by Penguin Random House.
Yeah. None of us knew.
Nobody knew about it.
You were involved in our community, but none of us knew that you were doing it. All right. You are the president of British Columbia Psychiatric Association. What do they do as an organization?
See, we are the largest specialist group in British Columbia. You know, we outnumber the surgeons or physicians in terms of numbers. So we negotiate the fee structure for the psychiatrist. We promote advocacy for psychiatry. We promote medical IMEs for the doctors. And we also deal with a number of issues that come to us from our membership on a regular basis. It's a very dynamic organization. I'm very proud to be the president of BCPA, and I'll be continuing in this position for the next 2 years.
Next 2 years. And I mean, you're the organization who liaison with the government.
For fee structure, yes.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
And then
Indo-Canadian Psychiatric Association, that's more of an informal.
Indo-Canadian Association, Indo-Canadian Psychiatric Association is a national organization.
Oh, okay.
It's a subsection of the Canadian Psychiatric Association. So we have an yearly AGM and annual meeting, and we attract very renowned speakers from India mostly, and also from Canada to address our membership. And
Oh, I
it's
see.
hugely successful.
Wow. Okay.
And my association with the University of British Columbia has been there for a long time. These days I am an examiner for medical students as well as for the residents of UBC.
Oh, I see. UBC.
Yeah.
You're already a professor there.
Yeah, clinical
You're already associate professor. Right. I wanted to ask you about your general outlook about the world. What is happening in this world and what should happen? I mean, you're a person who's seen life. You are highly educated. You've been doing a lot of things for the people, and that tells me that you are a person with a very strong philosophy and strong ideas about how should the world be and what's happening in the world. So my question to you is, what is happening in the world today and what should happen?
See, my philosophy is, we as human beings, we need to respect human beings for who they are and what they are. It should not be based on color, religion, or the place they came from, or places where they were born. That would be highly discriminatory. Because who am I to judge someone based on their color, religion, that kind of a thing? I despise that.
Okay. So so what's the solution?
It's not there is no easy solution, but I think starting with courtesy and respect, if everyone can offer that as a basis of a relationship, then things will definitely will be better.
Excellent. So that's probably the underlying values that you cherish in all your organizational work.
Exactly. I work with people from the highest position to the homeless. To me, every human being is unique. They have got something to offer to the society, and appreciate their difficulties, applaud their success, and do the best that we can for them.
Well, what noble values, and probably that might have been behind this too, in going to the all those places in Bihar and talking about those people.
Many of the students, they're Super 30 students, they are very poor. They come from very deprived background and financial background, but look at where they will go in 20 to 30 years time. Each of the students will be a CEO or own a company and that kind of a thing. So if given the right opportunity, regardless of their color or the skin or the religion, people can succeed.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. And what do you think is the future of India?
India it's a very dynamic country. See, we have got the largest middle class population in the world. We have got the youngest population in the world. So sky is the limit. I do not think that India will be second to any country in the future.
Amazing. Thanks very much. It's very encouraging.
Thank you.
It's nice talking to you.
Thank you so much, Sunny.
Very much. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Right.